This is an interview with J. Krishnamurti by Martin van Buren in Amsterdam, 1967.
So when you see an audience in front of you, what's your idea then before you start? Is it, I have a message for these people, they look upon me as a prophet, or?
No, it's not like that at all, sir. You see, it's after all, the audience and the speaker are taking a journey together, investigating together problems of life, like violence, sorrow, death, fear, peace, anxiety, guilt, the whole gamut of human turmoil.
But will you recommend anything to them?
And any advice from anybody is a fool's advice.
You can say that?
Oh, yes. Because it doesn't matter who it is. Advice is, only fools give advice, because nobody's going to follow it. But if you begin to understand yourself, understand how your mind works, what are your motives, why you hate people, why you are greedy, why this and that, then perhaps you can bring about a revolution in yourself, and therefore a revolution in the social structure.
So would you look upon yourself as, let's say, a catalyst?
Yes,
you know what
perhaps,
I mean?
Yes, perhaps. But that's a chemical...
Well, I know it's from science, but it may be a good comparison.
More than that. You see, sir, I've been talking nearly for 45 years. We began long before in Oman. Perhaps you've heard about that. And we resolved the order. I was the head of a big organization, and we resolved it. Yes, and all that. And I've been talking all over the world, except behind the Iron Curtain in the communist world. And people come because they have problems. Whether there is God, or God is dead, or whether there is whether we should accept authority, the established order. So, instead of my telling them what they should do, which would be merely another authority, we say, let's find out together, let's see why we obey, for example, a priest or a policeman. Why we have these nationalities warring at each other, why the world has divided into religions, Christian, Hindu, Muslim. It's all just man's invention. It's not God's invention, obviously.
No.
But the priests like to think it's God's invention to exploit people. So, is it possible to be free from all nationalities? So that we are human beings, not German, Dutch, Greek or Indian. We are human beings. And we have human problems. And that's the only thing that matters, not what you believe in.
Does the word ideal
Yes?
appear in your speeches?
No. To me, ideals, if I may use a rather strong word, all ideologies are idiotic. Because they're just inventions. But what is important, what is not idiotic, is to understand the fact of what one is. And to understand what one is, you don't want ideologies.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean, I can have, as soon as I, start discovering what I am, with my virtues and, everything, the whole complex of my personal being, then of course, I might conceive a kind of ideal person which I would like to be.
I know. Then what you would like to be is a projection of and the contrast of what you are.
Probably, yes.
Of course. So it's merely another projection. Another state which is created by your own condition of what you are. Therefore it has no validity. Whereas if you understood what you are.
Yeah. But once I begin to know myself, I discover how many, say, faults and defects I have.
How many? Say, for instance, that you are violent. Let's take.
For instance. Now, how should I go about? What should I do about this? Then, because it invites me to react.
Yes, of course. First, to be conscious of, to be aware of the fact that you are violent. That's obviously necessary. Then to be also aware of the so-called fact that you must be non-violent. That has been the tradition, that has been the education of religions and philosophers. Don't be violent. That's the opposite of violence. Now, why do you want an opposite?
Because I think that it might be better than what I am now.
Now, if you are pursuing the opposite, which is non-violence, you are in the meantime showing actually violence.
Mm-hmm.
So why not face the fact that you are violent?
But I do.
Then, how do you face it? That is the real crux of the matter. How do you look at violence? With a concept?
Yes, because
Of
I've...
course. The concept then is the ideology which prevents you from looking.
Yes, you mean there's a screen behind reality,
Of course.
between me and
And the
reality.
fact.
Yeah, that's what I read here
Yeah.
too. Could I stop?
When I was a boy of 9, with my brother, and they said, this boy is going to be a world teacher at 9. You understand that is quite a...
Yes, it is extraordinary.
And they adopted me, and my brother, and took us to England, to France, to Italy, and educated us there. We remained there for I don't know how many years, 20 years, I forget now. And then, when they found us, they founded an order, because they said he's going to be the Messiah, the new teacher, the world teacher. And this order was an enormous order with lots of members all over the world, property. There was Castle Ada at Ormond, you heard about it, and so on, all on. So in 1925 I had been talking before, but in 1925 or 23, I forget now, I began to talk. I said, organized religions don't lead you to truth, all the rest of it, beliefs are not necessary, and all. So we said, well, let's dissolve the order of which I was the head. We dissolved it. And we said, let's return all the properties all over the world, because they're really property-minded, not religious-minded. So we returned all that. And I've been talking all over the world since then.
Are you yourself a religious man?
Oh, definitely.
Yes. That involves a belief in a personal God? That's dogma. So you refuse to do that?
Sir, to find God, you must renounce all the gods man has invented.
Even the one you would like to invent yourself?
Of course, that's the first.
Yeah. So you wouldn't accept a God like Christianity does,
That's merely propaganda and dogma. You've been told there is a God, as the communists have been told there is no God. What's the difference?
It's all, although we have different gods or made different gods, in essence, he is the same.
I know, that's one of our pet... No, sir, to find reality, one must renounce all gods, beliefs, dogmas, rituals, which means there must be no fear at all.
That's a very important aspect.
Because it is fear that has created all this. Fear of death, fear of the unknown, the desire to be permanently, to have permanence, continuance, and so on, so on.
You believe in immortality?
That is really, you see, believe, is the word believe is really not scientific at all.
Have you at any moment had a feeling for yourself that you're immortal?
No, first of all, yourself, what does that mean, yourself? Actually, not theoretically, but actually what does it mean? yourself.
Well, but Descartes meant when he said, I think, so I am.
No, wait. Descartes said that. But when you think, you think according to your memories.
Mm-hmm.
So the response of those memories is thinking. Therefore, thinking is always old. Therefore, you are very old, which is your memories, not only your personal memories, you have the collective memories, racial memories, the historical memories, the tradition memories. Bundle of memories is you. And how can that bundle of memory be immortal? Which means out of time.
Yes, because thinking and memories are in time.
In time.
Yeah. Well, I in my philosophy, I accept time as the manifestation of our being a limited being.
So, a limited being says, I must be immortal. It becomes too fantastic.
Now I see your point.
That's a fact.
Yes,
That is a fact.
We see it every day.
The whole of Orient has said you will live again, reincarnation. Here, you are resurrected.
Yeah, according to Christianity.
You will be so on. But what is the fact? Those are beliefs. In Asia, in the Orient, if you believe in reincarnation, it means that how you live now, today, what you do now, how you think, how you feel, how you behave, matters enormous, because next life you're going to pay. But they only believe in it, and carry on with their daily monotonous, brutal life. They don't really. It means nothing, but it gives them little comfort when they're at the moment of death. Here is exactly the same. Talk about peace, loving your neighbor. Actually, what you're doing in the office, you're cutting the neighbor's throat. And actually, when you're talking about peace, you are talking of peace between two wars.
Yeah. What would you say if I ask you to tell me about happiness?
So happiness is a byproduct. It's not an end in itself. It's like health. If you do the right things, if you eat right food, right balanced diet and so on, you're healthy. But if you eat wrong food and yet search for health, obviously it doesn't exist. So happiness is something that cannot be sought after.
It happens.
It happens. And when it happens, don't cling to it. Because if you cling to it, it becomes a memory. And when the moment it becomes a memory, it's a dead thing.